Grace and peace be with you. Hi, my name is Mark. I'm the pastor at Sycamore Creek in Potterville. I have a brief thought for you. It is from my devotions where I'm reading through Psalms. I'm in Psalm 13 today. There are times in life when God seems or feels distant. There's times when God doesn't feel close, and we might wrestle in those moments with our faith, with our thoughts, and our heart can wander all over the place at those times. Now, Psalm 13 is about what it is like when God is distant. And what Psalm 13 tells us to do is to call on God, and to choose to trust in God's unfailing love. Now, there are three parts to this psalm. The first part is the problem, that's verses 1 and 2. The second part is a petition, that's verses 3 and 4. Then the last part is praise, it's verses 5 and 6. You see, the psalm starts out chaotic, it starts out loud, and then it sort of calms as it progresses. It seems that God is distant to David in this psalm because David is impatient. How long, God? And I can relate to this. I don't know about you. We want God to hurry, and yet God teaches us to wait. We might not like God's timing, but it doesn't mean that God is not there. God is still there. And waiting on God is a skill. It's a skill that we develop over time. And that skill is developed through the second part of this psalm, petition, through seeking God again and again above all else. So there's something interesting to notice throughout the Psalms. David does not complain about God. David turns to God. Let me repeat that. David does not complain about God. David turns to God. Now, most of us, when God seems distant, what do? Well, we turn away ourselves. But David turns to God, and David trusts in God's loving kindness. Now, he does that before his circumstances change. So what changes then? What leads David to praise in the last two verses? Well, it's David's focus. You see, the psalm focuses David on God, and it moves him to joy and praise. And the same can happen for us when we call on God and we choose to trust in God's unfailing love. Grace and peace be with you.